there is a period where, you know, you have your friendships from your early 20s, let's say, and then you do become a mom and friendships change a little bit. I mean, they do. And I've actually met two, I'd say really good friends in a Mommy and Me class with Jackson, Kim and Kelly. They're also in Chicago. Shout out you guys. And we've maintained a friendship, and we always make an effort to see each other. And I just love them so much. And that is rare, I will say, to make really good friends like that in a Mommy and Me class. I know how lucky I was and I am, because I do know that that's rare, but it can happen. And that's why I'm excited to tell you guys that, because these things do happen. And then I met two of my best friends in the last 4 years, you know, and I met them through school when my kids were a little bit older. And so for anyone who is in that phase of wanting new friends because now you're a mom, and it is also really hard when you're in that world of trying to find your mom friends. I think that's harder than dating, you guys. I really do. Finding like-minded friends who are moms who are in the same stage of life as you is very difficult, because it is. You're like speed dating moms. You're like having play dates and trying to get to know them. And you're like, could I hang out with this woman all the time? You know, like, do I want my kids around this woman? Like, it's wild. It's worse than dating. And so I remember there were moments where I would be like, God, it sucked. It's really hard when you don't have those friends that you just instantly click with and bond with and have similar interests and you can be fully yourself around. That was my biggest thing. It was hard for me to feel like I could be 100% myself around some of the moms that I was like trying to hang out with and trying to form friendships with. And that's why, like Kim and Kelly, who I love, instantly I was like, okay, cool. I can be myself. I can trust them. They're not judging me, et cetera, et cetera. And so just know that if you're in that phase, those friendships are coming. I promise you. I'm 38, and I think at like 34, I made two of my best friends. So this can happen. And so that kind of does lead me into like what makes a good friend, you know? And I think this is probably a little different for everybody, but to me, what makes a good friend is someone that you are just really comfortable with, that you can 100% be yourself with, where there is zero judgment. To me, that's a friend. I want to be able to be myself and to tell you everything, because I tell my friends everything. That's just how I roll. Like, I'm not able to like keep things secret, or like, I mean, I can keep a secret, but I think when it's stuff about me, like I'm an open book with the people in my life. And to me, that's how you connect, you know, is like, I want you to know what's going on in my life and like the things I'm struggling with. And also like vice versa. I want to know, like, if you're having a bad day, I want to know so I can be there for you. It's that kind of vibe. And so, but it's also the no judgment thing is also, if I really did something stupid in my life, like let's just say I did something that I'm not proud of, and you know, I'm feeling kind of down about myself, but I want to be able to come to you and tell you and not have you judge me and not have you make me feel worse than I already do. A friend is supposed to say, all right, listen, I mean, you did it, but like, who fucking cares? It's all good. Move on. You know, you learn from it. It's like, I don't know. To me, that's a friend. And this is so silly, but I remember even in high school, I would say to my friends, I'd be like, you know, I want friendships, and I feel like I'm the type of friend where this is what I said in high school. Okay. So don't judge me as an adult. Obviously I would never do this, and I don't really mean this, but like, if you killed someone, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, let's figure out how to hide the body together. Like, that was the kind of friend I wanted to be, was like ride or die. Like, no matter what you do, I'm showing up for you. And so I don't know. I think I've always been like that. I think the difference is I really stand by that as an adult, where maybe in my early 20s, I was a bit more kind of like wishy-washy, not wishy-washy, but like, so I was always there for my friends. But I just think I really value, really value my friendships more today than I ever have, I think is really the gist of it, because friendships were always important to me. But as I've gotten older, I just realize how important they are, because without my friends, I think it would be kind of a lonely life. And maybe because I'm single, maybe if I had a spouse, I would No, but I still, no, because I've been married, I've been in relationships, and my friendships are still as important to me. But and again, what I get from friendships is very different than what I get in relationship from a man. And Justin is maybe a little different because Justin is a man and he's very masculine. And he is someone who I really am able to get a lot from Justin, which, hey, maybe that's why I haven't felt the need to settle or like make a man work, because I'm getting a lot from Justin that I would need from a man, other than sex, obviously, which we won't even go there because the lack of that's really sad. I haven't been dating this year, you guys. I haven't been dating this year. I did just go on a date, and it was a great date, and it was a really great first date back in the game, which we'll get into. We'll get into that. I'm not, this is not what this podcast is about, but I am kind of back out there, which is, no, I wouldn't say back out there. I went on one date, but it felt good. I was excited to go on a date. Let's put it that way, because it's been a minute. It's been good. I've needed this year to kind of just focus on myself, which is good. Anyways, that's another podcast. But anyways, yeah. So what I get from my friends is very different than what I would get in relationship. And I think that's why they're also important. And another thing that I think makes a really good friend is, well, it is that authenticity piece. Show up as you. That's all I ask. Just be you. And empathy. And so this goes into how to show up for a friend in a divorce. Okay. I think what makes a really good friend and someone who's able to be there for you in tough situations is when you have empathy. And empathy and sympathy are very different things. Sympathy is, I'm so sorry. God, it must be so hard for you to go through that. God, I am so sorry that you're dealing with that. Ugh, that is awful. God, I'm so, never say I'm sorry. Never, ever say I'm sorry. No one wants sympathy. No one wants sympathy. I do think maybe there's a time and place for sympathy, but with your best friends, no. They want empathy. And empathy is when you are sitting in it with me. My friends are really, really good at that. And I really am thinking of Justin in particular, but all of my friends are. But Justin, because Justin is always my first text, voice note, call, whatever, about guys specifically, or in my divorce, he was really there for me. Again, all of my friends were. Shout out Beegs, shout out Shart, all of my friends. But Justin is, I'm just going to use Justin as an example, because Justin is so good at acting as though, no, he's not even acting though. He really believes what's happening to me is happening to him. And it makes me feel like I'm not alone in the situation. It makes me feel like I have someone really who gets what I'm going through. That's something I love about Justin, is he really understands what I'm going through and how I'm thinking and feeling. I mean, he gets it. He gets it on so many levels. And Beegs too, now that I'm just sitting here, I'm going to shout out Beegs with the dating stuff. Beegs fucking gets it, man, because she's been here. And I actually just texted her, I sent her a voice note right before this podcast. And I was like, I need your advice. I need your advice about dating. And, and again, it's that's a situation where it's not yes, I was on that date with you, this is happening to us, but she gets it because she's been there. And that's why maybe I think it also is a situation where, let's say you have 4 really solid friends. And by the way, you should really only have to count your friends on one hand. I would rather have 4 or 5 really great friends than 10, 15 mediocre friends. Because also I don't have time for that many people. But within those 5, let's say, there are certain things I think that I would go to for each person. And actually, let me say that differently. I would go to all of my friends for all of the things, but I think the priority list, the chain of how I would go, who's top, for dating, who's top for dating, Justin and Beegs would be at the top, but I don't know. It just depends. But I think that's ultimately what makes a really good friend. And so, okay, how to show up for a friend who's going through a divorce. And I'm speaking from experience and what I really needed during my divorce. And what I needed was a safe place to talk as little or as much as I needed to, where if I needed to talk about the same thing 10 times, my friends weren't like, oh, we've talked about that. Like, girl, we talked about that. You're not over that yet. Or like no one ever made me feel like they were annoyed or like they judged me or they really treated it as though it was the first time we were having that conversation. And again, there was no sympathy. No one ever was like, this seems really hard. I'm really sorry that you're going through this. It was more just like it was happening to me and my friends. And my friends showed up when I really needed them. Here's a good example, actually. So in the very beginning, before I was able to move into my old house, that I got after my divorce, or in the midst of it, but my ex and I did a period where we would do 3 days on with the kids and 3 days off, and we would stay at our house. So like I would be at the house with the kids for 3 days, and then I would leave, and then Jay would stay at the house for 3 days with the kids. And so in those 3-day periods, I would either go and stay with Justin and Scoot, which, by the way, like, could you imagine, like, if I didn't have Justin and Scoot in Nashville, what the hell would I have done? So, that was just incredible. But I also had a condo in LA. And yeah, it was a short trip, or it was a long trip for a short amount of days, but I would go to LA because I had my own space and I needed my own space sometimes. And when I went to LA, because you guys have to remember, this is in the height of COVID. COVID happened March 2020. That's when we split up, but we announced it April 2020. And so, the world is in lockdown, but not me. I was on a plane to LA a few times, a lot. And I remember one time I went to LA and I called Shar and Brittany and our friend Chelsea, it was like, so me, Shar, Brittany, Chelsea, and Brooke were like all a crew. And Chelsea's busy. Like, I get it. She lives in Malibu and she's got kids and she owns a salon. And I shout out Chelsea, fucking love Chelsea. She's one of my favorite people, but I just don't see her as much as I once did. Anyways, not the point. The point is, I called them and I was like, hey, obviously they knew I'm going through a divorce. I'm like, I'm coming to LA. Like, let's go to dinner. Like, let's have a night. And everyone's like, Kristin, LA is shut down. Like, we can't go anywhere. But they came to my condo. We made dinner and we had a night. We got pissed drunk, you guys, and stayed up way later than we ever do anymore. But it felt like the old times. And listen, a couple of my friends were definitely a little like, hey, it's COVID. You've been on a plane, not super crazy about this, but they still showed up. They showed up for me because I needed them. And that was really important. And they got really drunk with me and they stayed up late with me and they were there for me. And that wasn't even a night where it was like talking about my divorce all the time. For me in that moment, I needed to I needed to get drunk. I needed to let loose. I needed to be with my girls. I needed to be reminded of what it was like in our early 20s where like the girls just fucking showed up for one another, And that is a night I will remember for the rest of my lives. It's stuff like that. When your friend is going through a really hard time, if they need you, it's the friends who are able to drop everything and show up. It's like, God, you guys are the best friends. Those are the best friends. Because listen, we're all busy. We all have our own lives going on, but to be able to put your life on pause for a minute because you know how important it's going to be is huge.